Tonight, inside Pepsi Arena, the Albany Firebirds defensive duo of Johnson & Johnson, Carlton and Tommy, need to bring their A-game because the defending champion Arizona Rattlers are in town. Top gun Cedric Bonner will direct most of his missiles towards the lethal Calvin Schexnayder. But Albany and quarterback Mike Pulowski and touchdown Eddie Brown have plenty of firepower as well. The last time these teams hooked up, an avalanche of points was the result. 137 combined. Records were shattered, but the Rattlers prevailed 77-60. But that was a year ago. Tonight, the battle is inside Eddie Brown's house, and EB plans to send the Firebird fans home happy. Pepsi Arena in Albany, New York, where tonight the hometown Firebirds will try to reverse a 3-game losing streak at the expense of the defending champion Arizona Rattlers in a key game for both clubs as the playoffs fast approach. Entering week 11, this is how they stood. Only the top 8 teams advance into the postseason, and at the moment, Arizona and Albany 2 and 4 respectively. Hi again, everyone. I'm Mike Adamley along with Mike Golick. Glad you could join us for tonight's arena matchup. And Michael, tonight, a rare opportunity to see two of the very best passing duos in all the game. Let's start with Arizona.
And the Rattlers, their quarterback Cedric Bonner, their receiver Calvin Schexnayder, both tops in the league. Bonner, great poise in the pocket, one of the best releases in all of football. All Schexnayder does, he just gets open and gets in the end zone. The key here, they have been together for 5 years, Mike. They can almost read each other's minds.
Just a notch behind, statistically, the Albany duo of quarterback Mike Pulowski and touchdown Eddie Brown. Mike, they are fun to watch.
And these guys are number 2, right behind their Arizona counterparts. Pulowski, great vision in the pocket. He'll stand in there to the bitter end to make that throw. And when he does, it's usually to the premier offensive specialist in the league for a number of years. Touchdown, Eddie Brown. Again, they've been together through time. And the way these two duos from both teams are playing, we should see the scoreboard light up tonight.
And Mike, when it comes to excitement, this guy, one of the very best as far as returning kicks is concerned. Chad Dukes, a pro out of Pittsburgh, who has returned 3 kicks for touchdowns this year, all in one game, I might add, one half. As the Albany Firebirds have won the toss and will receive Kyle Pooler to kick off for the defending champion Arizona Rattlers. We are underway at the Birdcage, the Pepsi Arena in Albany, New York. Dukes has got it. Across the 10, but bottled up in a hurry by a host of Arizona Rattlers. Matt Eller on the tackle, a former Iowa Barnstormer. Mike Pulowski calling the shots for Albany, having another outstanding season, 46 touchdowns, completing 63.9% of his passes. 4th-year pro out of California. 1st and 10, Albany at their own 10. Eddie Brown, the motion man. And the quick little screen to Cornelius White, a rookie from Virginia Tech. Gain of 8. Offensively for the Firebirds up front, Mark Volvo, the elder statesman of the Firebirds, a 6-year veteran, a solid blocker, but can catch the football if needed. And Chad Dukes, he still leads the league in rushing, but his production has been down the last 3 weeks. He is a key factor if Albany is to win tonight. 2nd and 2. 3 wide receivers at the top of your screen for the Firebirds. The flip is to Dukes. You see the kind of quicks that he has. He picks up the first down and then some. Knocked out of bounds by Hunky Cooper, number 14. Defensively from Arizona. This man used to play for the Milwaukee Mustangs. 2nd on the all-time sack list, 6'5", 280-pound Ralph Jarvis. And Cecil Doggett has come on like gangbusters in place of the injured Cedric Walker. He leads the team both in tackles and passes defended against. 1st and 10. Albany just inside the midfield stripe at the 25-yard line. Eddie Brown, the motion man, at the bottom of your screen. Pulowski with a lot of time. Looking, he's got Brown and elects to go to Blake Hopkins instead. It is incomplete. Looked like Brown may have had a step on the Arizona secondary, Mike.
Well, he put a nice move on Cecil Doggett, but it happened late. Pulaski had to get rid of the ball, and that's a matchup you'll see a lot. Cecil Doggett is taking over for Cedric Walker, who's out for the year with an injury. Doggett now the leader of the Rattler defense, and he will be on Eddie Brown much of the night.
Albany has lost 3 straight games. Most of the players are looking at this game as a must-win situation. Flags all over the play. Before the play ever started, the pass was complete.
Well, this without a doubt is the penalty we've seen the most this year, is the jumping off sides, either with the quarterback hard counting or the high motion freeze at the line to get the defensive line to jump. We've seen this a lot.
79 on the defense. Penalty be refused. First down.
Head coach Mike Daly of the Albany Firebirds in his second full season. Used to be an assistant here to Mike Hohensee, who is now his assistant. Pulaski with a lot of time. He's got Hopkins open. Great catch in front of Doggett. The Firebirds have taken the early lead on their first possession of the game. And size-wise, Mike, that is a mismatch. Hopkins at 6'2", Doggett at 5'9".
And usually every team will have their tall receiver, that great tall possession receiver. For the Albany Firebirds, it is Greg Hopkins. You hear so much about Eddie Brown. Whenever Eddie Brown is really contained, and that's rare, this man, Greg Hopkins, usually steps up to be the other go-to guy.
Hopkins having a superlative season and also one of Albany's best two-way players. Iron Man of the week in game 2 when they beat New Jersey. Don Silvestri on to attempt the extra point. He is a new kicker that Albany signed just this week. It is up. It is good. And the Firebirds score on their opening possession. Mike Pulaski to Greg Hopkins. They lead it 7-zip early on.
Start your day the right way on ESPN with Corey Everson's Gotta Sweat. Then keep that great look with body shaping. Muscle tone and endurance has never looked so good. And study hard with co-ed training. Cardio workouts and weight training that benefit people of all fitness grades. Staying fit is easy with ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. ESPN presents Profiles. It's every fighter's dream to knock out his opponent. Sometimes I feel bad, and other times it feels good. Sometimes it hurts me to see an opponent laying on the mat. But it's my job. My job is to knock them out, win my fights, and to come out ahead. If you're not playing to win, why play at all? ESPN, we always win.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in this ESPN program.
Head coach Mike Daly of the Albany Firebirds has to be happy with what he sees, but tonight's X factor, not Mike Pulaski nor Eddie Brown, it's the fullback of this Firebird squad.
I see Chad Dukes for us, probably breaking the kickoff return or breaking a nice long run. I think that'll be the big difference. We need him to have a very good game tonight, play as aggressive as he's been playing, but we need a big play from him tonight, as well as Greg Hopkins. I think if those two guys, as well as me and Mike, if we all do what we're supposed to do, I think that'll help set the tone for how our defense should play and how the Albany Firebirds should play tonight to have success.
In the first 7 weeks of the season, Chad Dukes averaged 6.8 yards per carry. The last 3 games, all Albany losses, just 2.8 yards per carry. Pooler's kick high and bounces wildly, and again in arena football, that ball very much alive, and Eddie Brown.
And that other name that Eddie Brown mentioned, Greg Hopkins, as the other X factor. He has the lone touchdown tonight on a 16-yard reception on Albany's first drive. You know, because you figure with Eddie Brown and Schexnayder, if they cancel each other out and the quarterbacks have their normal games and the receivers, then there is going to have to be another part of the game for either team that's going to have to make the difference. And that Eddie Brown feels Chad Dukes and Greg Hopkins could be those two.
And by contrast, Arizona hurting at that fullback position. We'll more on that in a moment. Albany, their second possession of the game. Eddie Brown, the motion man. They begin this possession on their own 5. Pulaski, he's had time all night. He's got Eddie Brown wide open. Touchdown! Eddie Brown, oh baby! Tim Watson on the coverage for Arizona, never had a chance. And Eddie Brown, with that touchdown reception, has just taken the lead in scoring away from Calvin Schexnayder.
And they'll be seesawing for the rest of the year. Look at the time. Look at the difference. Cedric Bonner harassed his first series. Mike Pulaski a lot of time just lays it up right into Eddie Brown's hands, who had about 3 steps on the defender, Tim Watson, for the easy touchdowns.
Eddie Brown came into the game with 31 touchdowns this year. That one good for 45 yards. So now Don Silvestrion, they just signed this kid after a tryout this week. Played his collegiate football at the University of Pittsburgh. Bad snap. Pulaski able to put it down. Silvestri puts it through. The Albany Firebirds, 2 possessions, 2 scores. They lead it at 14-3.
Boxing champions, main attraction has it all. This is a battle of the champions. Australia's own Kostya, Touchdayer Rafael Ruelas, a super lightweight title elimination. Miguel Angel Gonzalez and John Molina, plus Luisito Espinosa and Gutiérrez Bardas. See it all live from the USA. Sunday, August 16, starting 10:30 a.m. Ring 1-300-300-666. Book now.
Mix money with art, religion with sex.
Why don't you get him to take his pants off?
And you've got Paul Cox's crazy mixed-up comedy.
It's about form and line, substance.
Where everybody tries to manipulate somebody, and where everybody gets screwed in the end.
My husband is naked.
Nicholas Hope, Claudia Carvin, and Chris Haywood find that everybody has a real lust for their work.
I'm so hot.
Lust and Revenge, the Australian television premiere season, Wednesday, 8:30 on Movie 1.
Eddie Brown might have said that Chad Dukes is the X factor, but he is the man tonight. A 45-yard touchdown reception from Mike Pulaski has put his Firebirds up 14-3. Honky Cooper back deep for the Rattlers. They'll get their second chance on offense in a moment. Cooper gets it off that iron flag on the play. Albany has recovered in the end zone. That's Greg Hopkins, but they may not have given Hunky enough room to field the football.
They haven't. The rule in arena football is the kickoff team cannot pass the 5-yard line until the ball is caught. Now that ball hung in the air, and Hunky Cooper is down, and that is not good for Arizona. You see number 5 there for Albany past the 5-yard line. That is illegal. That will be the penalty. As you see Cooper grabbing his knee right away when he gets hit. And for the injury-riddled Arizona Rattlers, this is about as bad as noon as you can get. I've already lost their defensive specialist, Cedric Walker, for the year. You see Hunky Cooper reaching for that left knee.
That Arizona is 8-2 this season is really a tribute to their coaching staff and their player personnel director, because they have made more moves than Allied Van Line. Look at this. A total number of injuries of 38. Players have missed 249 practice days, and the game's missed 63, and we're talking about starters,
Absolutely.
frontline players.
Here's their top 3 rushers, Easter, Kelly, McMillan, their top tackler in Walker, and one of their best two-way players in Gatewood. Look at all the practices and games they've missed. Walker, you see on the bottom, he is out for the year. Gatewood may not be back until the playoffs, so this is a team that has been holding it together with a little duct tape and Bondo, and now they're losing one of their mainstays right here.
Mike, you live in Phoenix. They lose this man, Hunky Cooper, Cooper, they lose their heart, they lose their soul. He is their emotional firebrand.
On and off the field, and that is not a good sign, him limping off. In the locker room, he is a leader. On the practice field, he is a leader. And the Albany Firebird fans, as you see, well, they flat out don't care what the leader, Hunky Cooper, is. They want to see their Firebirds move on up in the standings.
The moderately good news for Arizona, they keep the football and begin this possession on their own 8-yard line. But Hunky Cooper will be difficult to replace.
He's got it.
He's got Schexnayder wide open just like that. He beats a rookie, Jay Jones on a James Madison. You called it earlier, Mike. You said Danny White, after a big score by the opponent, likes to get it back in one play. 42 yards on that touchdown.
Yeah, usually after a turnover, a big play, the opposing team likes to come back and burn one. And if you see a matchup of Calvin Schexnayder on a rookie, you know, Cedric Bonner, he sees the whole field, but he sees Shakes break inside and get that step early. He just lays the ball up there. And now Schexnayder is back to being the leader in points, just overtakes Eddie Brown again. They'll be doing it till week number 14. This
is going to go on all night. Kyle Pooler, who when he's not kicking for the Rattlers is a high school math teacher at Centennial High School in Phoenix, along with as a football coach and soccer player. He makes the extra point. Danny White's team, well, they never give up. They trail by 4, but it's still very early here in Albany.
The PGA Tour presents the 1998 Cannon Greater Hartford Open. In the final round of last week's Cannon Greater Hartford Open, Larry Mize caught fire, making 4 consecutive birdies starting on 11 and building a 4-stroke advantage. But just as easily as his lead came, it vanished thanks to a double bogey and 2 bogeys over the final 4 holes. Mize found himself in a 3-way playoff with defending champion Stuart Sink and 4-time Nike Tour winner Olin Brown. The Cannon Greater Hartford Open champion.
ESPN. New season, new attitude. The best women players in the world turn up the heat and battle all night long. The WNBA all season on ESPN.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in this ESPN program.
9:04 remaining here in the second quarter of play at Pepsi Arena in Albany, New York. The hometown Firebirds leading 21-17. And receiving the kickoff here, Eddie Brown, the short man in the receiving configuration for the Firebirds, brings the ball out to the 20. Hey, next Saturday night, Arena football fans will be on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern Time. A key Central Division game between the 6-5 Houston Thunder Bears and the 5-6 Milwaukee Mustangs. And a pair of great quarterbacks, much like we have tonight, Mike. Houston's Clint Dozell and Milwaukee's Todd Hamill among the league's premier QB.
Boy, 2 more quarterbacks that can just light it up.
Mike Cohency wasn't a bad one either.
Exactly.
Oh! Pulowski on 1st and 10. Greg Hopkins.
Well, Brown and Schexnayder have gotten a couple, but the possession guys for both teams have done well, as Doug Kay, the defensive coordinator for Arizona, needs his troops to come up with a stop. Their offense was stopped by a field goal. Now he needs his guys to come up. So far, Albany has been having their way.
So far for the Firebirds, 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns. This is possession number 4, 1st and 10. Ball at the Arizona 18. Eddie Brown, the man in motion. Pulowski got the pressure, felt the pressure, and overthrows Greg Hopkins. At the end of the game, we'll be selecting the Tenacton Ironman Player of the Game. And at the end of the season, Tenacton will make a contribution to the Special Olympics World Games on behalf of the Tenacton Ironman Player of the Year. And Chad Duke certainly fits that description.
couple of fullbacks in the running. Chad Duke's right there, one of them. Yesterday, we did the Tampa Bay, Florida game. Les Barley from Tampa Bay, another fullback, having a great year. The two fullbacks could be fighting it out for the Ironman of the year.
Well, Dukes leads the league in kickoff returns and rushing. Also has 10 tackles this season and a sack on defense. Pulaski's pass is tipped by Darren Kenny, the nose guard.
Again, that's what you want to do on the short pass. Kenny right over the center. Stays in the vision, jumps, good timing. That's what if you're always taught, defensive linemen are taught, if you're not there, get your hands up.
All right, wing loop, 68 sail, wing go. All ready?
Did you get all that?
Boy, I tell you what, all I know is the 60 is slide protection. Again, Albany gives each receiver, he tells them what to do. No numbers, they tell each receiver what route they're supposed to run. Makes it simple.
Eddie Brown was open deep. Hopkins gets it underneath. Beats Muhammad Oliver, drags it into the end zone, and for the fourth consecutive time, the Albany Firebirds get 6. Doug Kay, Arizona's defensive coordinator, not happy.
Well, Eddie Brown said early, Dukes and Hopkins, the X factor. Hopkins earlier a 16-yard touchdown reception. This time a 20-yarder. Here's where size comes into play. You see Muhammad Oliver's got him at the 5. Hopkins able to just shrug him off and get it into the end zone. As you said, 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns. Tough to lose a game doing that.
Silvestri on to attempt his 4th extra point of the game, and he is 4 for 4. And they're dancing in Slippery Rock. Greg Hopkins gets it done.
At any one moment in time, someone is winning, losing, struggling, crying. Where the world comes together to celebrate the universal language of sports. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
Formula 3 races into the second half of the season. ESPN has Latin America's most prestigious open-wheel racing. As the most fertile training grounds for future kart drivers, Formula 3 has all the excitement and thrills you could ask for. Formula 3 on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. ESPN is home to the champions of the world this August. Look for the passion of Italian Serie A football with the Berlusconi Trophy. It's football from the Netherlands as Dutch football kicks off with the Dutch Super Cup. Then, ESPN brings you the official opening of the season with the Italian Super Cup. The champions of the world in August on ESPN.
Well, here in Albany, the Firebirds are happy. This guy is real happy. He could have won. Could be a little happier if he'd won the $5,000. Watch this kick. Had he would have made it, he'd have collected the $5,000. This was pretty close.
45 yards. That is dead on line. But just, oh my, $5,000. They should give him a little something for the effort to hit the crossbar. How about that?
The fans certainly wanted to see him walk away with the cash.
I think the fans need to pass around the hat a little bit and get him something for making it about 43 yards.
Yeah, 43 and a half, just underneath the crossbar. Silvestri set to kick off. He kicks with a shoe on. And one of the reasons they signed him is his high kicks and powerful leg. This one a perfect carom, however, for Calvin Schexlater. And look at those sweet moves. Did the ground cause the fumble, however?
Oh, no, they're giving it to Albany.
That ball, I don't know, it may have popped out when he hit the ground. And if that's the case, it shouldn't have been ruled a fumble.
And he made a nice move. I thought he was breaking free to go the distance, and then he lost his balance. And Carl Sacco got him from behind. Let's see when the ball comes out. Right here, I thought he was breaking through free.
Nice cut right there. Trips up. There's Carl Sacco, number 3, and the ball clearly, good call by the officials. My bad. That ball left before he hit the ground.
First turnover of the game. Let's see what Albany can do with it.
Jim Lapatina, tonight's referee.
Prior to the snap, we had 2 tight ends declare 3-yard penalty.
Well, again, one of the linemen comes up and raises his hand and declares a tight end. You'll see Sacco with his arm, the ball clearly out, before Schexnayder hits the ground again. Normally, that's Hunky Cooper's job, returning kicks. So Calvin, a little out of his element, returning these kickoffs off the net.
A quick little screen to Cornelius White, rookie from Virginia Tech, inside the 10, and another 2 Arizona players down, Cecil Doggett and Joe Birch. Doggett's slow in getting up.
Well, we've seen Albany use this play a few times. A quick screen and the other receivers get out there and block for him. See the big guy hustling down there. And Birch and then Doggett, both of them getting a little dinged on a play, and this has been Arizona's year. Even though only 2 losses, they have lost a number of people with injuries.
Well, Cedric Bonner and Calvin Schexnayder are Arizona's star players, but the star this year for the Rattlers has been the team trainer. So many injuries. We'll be back to report on the condition of Birch and Doggett when we return.
ESPN presents Know the Game. Keep the chicken warm means the plane is in the shot as you surf the fall. Tracking is moving horizontally while in free fall. Terminal velocity is the fastest a given body position will fall. Change the position and you change speed. Tidy ball in the hole. It looks like this. The team flips together and the surfer keeps spinning upside down. Know the game. No one in the world can catch ESPN in bringing you the best in auto racing. The Kart FedEx Championship Series has superstars like Alex Zanardi and Brazilians Fittipaldi and DeFerrin. South American Formula 3 has the best young drivers in the next generation of racing superstars. Thrills and spills are always around the corner in Indy Lights Championship action. Auto racing like no one else all year long on ESPN. The superstars of tomorrow put their skills to the test as they step into the ring to lay claim to one of the finest prizes in amateur boxing. Tonight, watch the National Golden Gloves on ESPN.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in this ESPN program.
Well, they're twisted in the aisles here at Pepsi Arena, and why not? The Firebirds, losers of 3 straight, playing the defending champion Arizona Rattlers off their feet. Mike Adamley and Mike Golick alongside me on a raucous night here in Albany. Eddie Brown, 2 touchdowns tonight for their main man, and he enjoys the spotlight. And the key to greatness, Mike, is not doing it against, not a lot of statistics, but doing against the great teams.
And Eddie Brown has done it throughout the years against the good and the bad, known as one of the best offensive specialists this league has ever seen. But the big story tonight, 5 possessions, 5 touchdowns for Albany.
Clean care of off the nets. Calvin Schexnayder's got some running room. One man to beat the kicker who trips him up. Finally polished off by Cornelius White, but a flag down.
Well, Rod Hobbs, number 4 for Arizona, gave a shot to one of the Albany kick guy coming down right in the back. So, not going well for the Rattlers tonight. They're putting themselves in a hole an awful lot.
Illegal block above the waist by the receivers. Number 4, half the distance to the goal line. First down.
You see it's on the left of your screen, right on the 10, right there, shoves him right in the side and in the back. Again, you're taught, if you're blocking on the return team and you see the man's side or back, don't hit him. Let him run through and hope that your kick returner is able to dodge him. Hobbs, another one of the players they brought in because all the fullbacks that went down earlier in the year.
Bonner to Schexnayder. A across the 10-yard line. Coming up at halftime, we'll be going back to our studios in Bristol, Connecticut. ESPN News, some of the things we'll be talking about. NFL signings, some big goalie changes in the National Hockey League, and the latest from Royal Brookdale in Southport, England, as the British Open begins this Thursday. Danny White, the only coach in franchise history, but his team at the tail end of a 35-17 deficit. A team that, along with Tampa Bay, undefeated on the road this year, but not playing well here in Albany. They'll face a 2nd and 2 situation. 1 minute remaining here to go in the first half.
ESPN's boxing gives you a ringside seat for the hardest-hitting, toughest fighters from around the world. Seasoned veterans and up-and-comers compete in top-flight competition. Watch the best in boxing on ESPN.
At any one moment in time, someone is winning, losing, struggling, crying. Where the world comes together to celebrate the universal language of sports. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
1 minute remaining here in the first half of play from Pepsi Arena in Albany, New York. The Firebirds leading 35-17. Danny White, the only coach in franchise history, and also in his 7 years, one of the winningest active coaches. Tim Markham, of course, heading the list with 102. Danny White, 3rd all-time.
Also, just inducted into the Collegiate Hall of Fame. A great career at ASU. Just one of the many quarterbacks I never sacked in the NFL.
But you had a couple of hurries, didn't you? Bonner going for Scheckstader. Carlton Johnson on the coverage. Bonner's looking for the pass interference. None was there. But that was a great adjustment on the ball by Calvin Scheckstader. He didn't catch it, but watch what he does is with his body.
Right at the end, Johnson just trips with their feet. That's incidental contact, and they won't call that. They shouldn't. Jakes just didn't adjust enough. It came over his other shoulder, looking for it to come over the shoulder toward the middle of the field. It went over his outside shoulder. Just couldn't get turned enough.
Arizona yet to convert on 3rd down tonight. 3rd and 1 from the Albany 12. Bonner to Scheckstader, first down.
Now again, we're inside a minute, so out of bounds plays, and the clock should stop on that. It's a first down. This is like the college rules. It stops on a first down until the chains are set. So the Rattlers need to get in the huddle and get a play called, because the clock's going to start unless they're going to use a timeout.
Wing post on 2-on-2, ready?
And the clock starting again now.
2-on-2.
Change those sticks.
2-on-2.
Well, you heard the end of it. Wing post. That'll be the man at the bottom of the screen, Sean Parnell.
Bonner's got good pass protection. Scheckstader open in the middle. Albany content to give them the underneath stuff. But they call timeout with they can move the chains. They don't have to call timeout. 19 seconds remaining.
They went ahead and called the timeout. They're going to...
Well, if you like the fireworks tonight, here's what happened a year ago at America West Arena. What a shootout in the snake pit. They matched touchdown for touchdown in the first half, did Cedric Bonner and Mike Pulowski. But in the end, the Rattlers proved to be too much. Bonner threw for a record 9 touchdowns, 340 yards. Calvin Scheckstader hauled in 12 passes and a team record 7 TDs. The final score, 77-60. You see the numbers. We're not there here tonight, but we're still in the first half. Maybe, who knows?
Boy, I tell you, that was a shootout last year, and it looks like they want to go the same route tonight. But Schexnayder, look at that night, 244 yards, 7 TDs, 42 points, all team records. And he is trying to displace Eddie Brown as the top offensive specialist in the league. As said, Bonner and Danny White talk a little strategy. They need to get the ball in the end zone because they get the ball in the first and the second half, and they can get this lead down to 4 with 2 touchdowns.
Well, Mike, if there's anything tougher than an Arena Football League player, it just might be a rodeo cowboy. And to wit, at 7:30 Eastern Time this Tuesday on July 14th, the world's largest outdoor rodeo. From Calgary Fairgrounds in Alberta, Canada, it's the Calgary Stampede Finals, a big money showdown for the right to consider themselves arguably the best cowboys in the world. Bonner to Brian Easter, the fullback, knocked out of bounds. And the clock will stop with 14 seconds remaining.
Good play because it's a sideline play, so you know whatever Easter gains, he's going to be able to get out of bounds at the end of the play. And again, since we're under a minute, the clock will stop, giving everybody a chance to get a little breather.
If they can score 7 here, Mike, before the first half is over, it'll be a big lift because they get the ball to start the second half.
Don't come too far inside on this. Left wide flip. 19, that's arrow. Let's go on 2. On 2, ready? Hold in there. 2.
Well, they're going to try it on 2 to get a little free play here, get the D-line to jump.
Well, they got somebody to jump. Unfortunately, it was Calvin Schexnayder.
You know, and Calvin a couple of plays ago got dinged a little bit, and he might be a little tired now. He's been out there an awful lot tonight, and the concentration starts to slip a little bit. You're worried about your route.
8 on the offense, 3-yard penalty.
And you even heard Cedric Bonner in the huddle, hold it, guys, hold in there. We're going on 2. When you get a little tired, the first thing to go is your concentration and your discipline, and it showed there with Calvin Schexnayder. I think he's proved he's human.
Right flip, 50. Let's go, right flip, 50, wide arrow, and 1-on-1, ready?
The Y they tell the route to now. Calvin Schexnayder to the X. The Y Marvin Bagley.
Looking one way, then throwing another. Throwing it intended for Schexnayder off the crossbar and almost picked off by Derek Stingley.
Again, you saw that ball come off the net or off the iron there. That is a live ball until it hits the ground. The net is in play.
Can't say enough about Albany's secondary tonight. The work of Derek Stingley and Carlton Johnson, number 21, Tommy Johnson. They've been very effective in shutting down this high-powered Arizona offense, ranked number 1 in the league coming in. 8 seconds remaining here in the first half. Schexnayder, the motion man. Where's Bonner going to go? He's got shakes. Touchdown. Man, Albany had all the momentum on their side, and just like that, courtesy of some great work getting open by Calvin Schexnayder, it evaporates.
And I'll tell you, not bad coverage by Derek Stingley, but Schexnayder knew his team needed 7 going in to the locker room. Does a little outside-in move, or inside-out move, I should say. The coverage is there. Bonner does a nice job of lobbing it over the top. And again, how important is this, Mike? We just said they score. Now they get the ball first in the second half. If they score on that first drive, provided they get extra points, it would be a 35-31 game as they try and make it 24 right here.
Good job, Kyle.
4 seconds remaining. First half was scored. Firebirds 35.
So the Arizona Rattlers, defending Arena Bowl champions, not about to fold their tent. Coming up Monday, July 20th at 7:30 Eastern Time on the Deuce. Game that means a lot to the fans in Grand Rapids. The Rampage taking on the Florida Bobcats. The Rampage in their initial season and drawing good crowds at Van Andel Arena. Got a nice team. Remy Hamilton is their star kicker. You might have remembered him from the University of Michigan. They get it on next Monday night on ESPN2.
You know, and you said it, Grand Rapids not having a great statistic here, but getting great crowds. They put on a nice show for their fans. The fans are coming in droves, over 10,000 per game, and that's going to be a nice franchise after they get some experience.
They've got a solid coach in Mike Trigg, who last year coached the Milwaukee Mustangs. He's been around the league a long time, both as a coach and a player. He'll get it done up there. Derek Stingley, he's had a good night. He's just in the unenviable position of having to pass defend the most dangerous man in the league, Calvin Schexnayder. The Chad Dukes in one game against Florida returned 3 kickoffs back for touchdowns, but Arizona's going to make sure that doesn't happen, squibbing the ball to number 5, Jay Jones.
Well, that was
Albany
smart.
did call timeout, though.
Smart on Albany's part, just kind of like a fair catch. You just don't run with the ball and down it. Well, they brought in a Silvestri for the strong leg, and now he's going to get a chance to prove it right before half. What a twist this would be.
This would be a 53-yard field goal for Don Silvestri. Played most recently with the London Monarchs. Rather lanky for a kicker at 6'4" tall, but he has an extremely strong leg, and that's why Mike Daly brought him in. From 54 yards away. If good, it'll give the Firebirds a 2-touchdown lead once again. Oh, he goes! 54 yards, maybe a yard or 2 to spare. Mike Daly looking like a genius, signing this guy and putting Steve Elezovic back on the developmental squad.
Well, Arizona tried a squib kick on that kickoff. Albany a great job of just downing it and calling timeout. And it pays off with 3 points on a huge field goal by the new acquisition.
So the Arizona Rattlers trailing by 14. We send you now to Bristol, Connecticut, and our new studios at ESPN.
Studios of Walt Disney comes the biggest family event of 1998. Exclusive to the movie network, 101 Dalmatians. With an all-star cast including Jeff Daniels, Jolie Richardson, Joan Plowright, and Glenn Close as the wicked Cruella de Vil.
The puppies are not for sale.
And 101 of the cutest puppies you'll ever meet who are in a spot of bother.
Did you get the puppies?
Affirmative. It's the greatest rescue story ever told.
She did steal the puppies.
Catch those puppies!
101 Reasons to Watch. Coming in August, Disney's 101 Dalmatians, exclusive to the movie network.
Saturday on Odyssey's Living Edge.
The males violently shake the branches.
Discover one of the rarest, most endangered species of Japan.
A troop, usually 30 to 50 individuals, forages through snow-laden slopes.
Who survive winters by bathing in hot spring waters.
Only reprieve from unrelenting winds and sub-zero temperatures.
Lives of hardship and happiness. The Snow Monkeys on Odyssey's Living Edge. Saturday at 8:30.
From the worldwide leader in sports, this is ESPN News.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the network that never sleeps. This is an ESPN News halftime report along with the David Lloyd. I am Jason Jackson. We'll get you back to the indoor 50-yard war in moments, but first, we get you up to date on the day's news and information. We begin with the golden one.
Yeah, and he's going into hibernation permanently, it looks like. Jack Nicklaus will play to the millennium, and then that's it for the PGA Tour. The Golden Bear will play in all 4 majors in the year 2000, and then throw his clubs in the closet. Jack said it was no big deal, adding, quote, I'll still play some senior golf, but I'm not going to compete against the kids. Nicklaus is 58 and will not play in this week's British Open. Jason.
Today was a busy day for the Dallas Cowboys. They re-signed a player, cut another, and locked up their #1 draft choice all before the 5 o'clock whistle blew. Starting from the back, the boys locked up this NFL draft's 8th pick, a defensive end out of North Carolina, Greg Ellis, who will be a starter since Tony Tolbert was cut due to his troubled knees. Ellis and the boys agreed to a 6-year, $11.5 million deal that included a $5.4 million signing bonus. And here's a switch. Ellis ordered his agent, Butch Williams, to get the deal done before camp starts on Wednesday. And so it's done, and now Jerry Jones and the Cowpokes are ready for Ellis to tackle and learn.
I really, truly, from the bottom of my heart, look forward to going to training camp and applying myself with all I got and even more to get the job that we want to get done.
With the kind of money that we're paying him and the kind of influence he has on our roster, influence through the system we're in, the cap, he's got to be ready to play. We can't pay people like that and not have them on the field and playing.
Ellis had 87 tackles and 9 sacks for the University of North Carolina as a senior in 1997. He had 12.5 sacks as a junior, so Ellis is slated to move into a starting position ASAP, and the Dallas D needs something new right now. They're ranked no higher than 17th in the league in any defensive category last season. On the other end of the job spectrum in Dallas, the Cowboys cut running back Sherman Williams loose today as well. Williams had become a victim of the Chris Warren offseason signing. Mr. Smith's former backup touched the ball 121 times with the intent of running the ball last season for nearly 470 yards and 2 touchdowns. Other notes, the boys didn't invite Herschel Walker or Bill Bates to training camp, and tight end Eric Bjornson inked a new 2-year deal today.
New York Ranger fans have to be slightly flummoxed at the work done by Rangers management over the last few days. They wanted longtime Ranger Mike Richter between the pipes, but for some reason, the Rangers lowballed him with a 3-year, $15 million offer. Richter flatly refused. So the Rangers turned around and are discussing a sweeter, larger offer with free agent Curtis Joseph. Both Richter and Cujo are 31. Cujo's agent is pursuing a deal for a reported 4 years and $24 million. Although the Rangers said no deal was imminent. Richter and Cujo are the last of the big-name free agent goalies left out there. That's because John Van Beesbrook just signed with the Flyers for 3 years and $11 million. The Bees are reunited with his old Panthers coach, Roger Nielsen, and today the newest Flyer met the press.
Good positive pass onto Hicks.
And we'll return you now to Pepsi Arena for the second half of that big Arena Football League game.
And as you should know, if you don't have ESPN News, call your cable operator or satellite provider and demand it. He's David Lloyd. I'm Jason Jackson. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Formula 3 races into the second half of the season. ESPN has Latin America's most prestigious open-wheel racing. As the most fertile training grounds for future kart drivers, Formula 3 has all the excitement and thrills you could ask for. Formula 3 on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
ESPN takes you to the great outdoors. Grab a rod and reel and enjoy some of the best fishing in the world, or hit the trails and experience the thrill of the chase. Answer the call of the wild and learn the secrets of the game from some of the top sportsmen in the world. From out in the woods to out on the water. Get back to nature with ESPN.
It is halftime here in Albany, and the Firebird fans are fired up. Why not? Their team leads 38-24, the defending champion Arizona Rattlers. Joined right now on the sideline by Albany head coach Mike Daly. Mike, your team not in a must-win situation, really, as far as the playoff is concerned, but they're certainly playing that way.
Yeah, we're playing with great intensity, and we're going to have to continue to do that the second half. You know, we've been flying around out there making some plays, and you can see how it helps us with our enthusiasm. Boy, defensively, the coverage and not sacking Bonner, but at least getting in his face. Got to be impressed with that tonight. You know, we're real happy with the pressure, and our defensive backs have played real physical. That's what you need to do in this league.
Coach, thanks for joining us. Good luck in the second half. And we'll be back with the second half kickoff from Pepsi Arena in Albany, New York. You're watching the Arena Football League on ESPN2.
Secret Service agent Sam Sims has a style all his own.
I am so flattered.
Sworn to protect.
It's the first time I got in trouble before I did anything.
Sworn to serve.
This is a black tie affair. I'm black. I'm wearing a tie.
Sworn to be wild.
A little pelvic thrust. Try this.
And guarding America's first kid.
You see the kid come out here?
Yes, sir.
Then why didn't you stop him?
He lives here.
Now they're turning the White House
Unlock the door.
into the fun house.
Only 6 hours on the job and already an escape attempt?
Sinbad. Brock Pierce and Zachary Ty Bryan.
Okay, it's official. I don't like this kid.
The Australian television premiere season of First Kid begins Saturday, 8:30 on Movie Extra.
Moments away from the second half kickoff here in Albany. The Firebirds leading the defending Arizona Rattlers 38-24. Defending champions, and Mike Daly very pleased with what he's seen so far. He's not going to show it, of course, because there's a whole nother half to play. Danny White's team has not lost on the road this year, but they're in danger of doing so. Mike Pulowski has had quite a first half. So has Eddie Brown.
Well, Eddie Brown, we talked about him at the top. That's why they call him Touchdown Eddie Brown. He finds the end zone. Hunky Cooper, the normal return man, hurt. Calvin Shexnay, the returning kickoff, not his forte. Gets the ball stripped at the end, turned into an Albany touchdown. But then Arizona scored right before the half, thinking they got the momentum back. But with 1 second to go, the new acquisition, Don Silvestri, a 54-yarder as time ran out to put Big Mo momentum back on Albany's side as they headed into the locker room.
Firebirds with a win tonight will solidify their position in the standings, put 2 games up between themselves and the New Jersey Red Dogs. And statistics, well, they don't really tell the story this game, even though they're very even. Albany, I think, is dominated.
Oh, they definitely have. And you have to go defensively to where they've dominated. As Mike Daly said, they've been very physical, and they've got a decent rush on Bonner. We talked about the 2 top receivers at the beginning of the show. Virtually even right here. Need one of them to try and take over this half to help their respective team.
Showcase players, Calvin Shexnader and Eddie Brown. Mike Pulowski also in a duel of his own with Cedric Bonner. I think all he's concerned about is the victory. Marvin Bagley is the deep man now for Arizona with the loss of Hunky Cooper out with the sprained knee.
Well, you saw Calvin Shexnader was back there, but as we showed you in the highlight, he had the ball stripped from him, so don't try Bagley.
Great height on the kick by Silvestri and clean care of off the net. And Bagley, maybe not your ideal return man at 6'5". Chad Dukes, this is why this man is so respected in this league. He does it on offense, he does it on defense, and he does it on special teams.
Now, here's a guy you see playing in arena football right now, but you may see him on Sundays in the NFL one day. He may be too good to keep out of any league with all he does. Great job of fighting right through the blocks and making the tackle. But also on Arizona's side, I think you see clearly they miss Hunky Cooper returning those kicks.
They miss him emotionally as well as physically. So Bonner and company put the ball in play at their own 1.
He's completely Calvin Shexnay.
If nothing else, this has really turned into an incredibly physical game. It's already high scoring. Both teams looks like they may be in the 50s or 60s, but these guys are flying around, and we have a player down.
Carlton Johnson, number 2, perhaps Albany's best defensive secondary player.
And when you have as much hit as you're seeing, unfortunately, this is a byproduct of it. We've already seen a couple of the Rattler players dinged up and stay down for a little bit. Johnson, number 2, you see him coming in.
He gets hammered by Brian Easter, number 24, who pinned him up in the ear hole. Defensively, Carlton Johnson, Tommy Johnson, the defensive leaders for Albany, and they certainly have lived up to all the advanced billing.
And you know, you talk so much about the offensive skills, and we did it with this team, but again, the Johnson and Johnson duo, as well as the rest of the defensive players for Albany have really stepped up tonight.
But right now it is a concern. Mike Daly, who is looking on, will give you the condition of Carlton Johnson when we return to Albany.
The Senior PGA Tour presents the 1998 State Farm Senior Classic. Hobbit's Glen Golf Club in Columbia, Maryland was the scene last week, as 5 years Senior PGA Tour veteran Bruce Summerhays was looking to chalk up his second Senior PGA Tour title. But first, he would have to break a log jam at 9 under. Bruce found the lucky number of 10 at the 10th. And then broke another log jam when he needed to most. At the home hole. Congratulations, Bruce Summerhays, the 1998 State Farm Senior Classic champion.
Well, hushed silence here in Albany right now, Pepsi Arena. The man on the field down, Albany Firebirds. Carlton Johnson moments ago. These two opponents were unified in prayer.
Yeah, as you can see.
This is what happened, Mike.
Well, Carlton Johnson, number 2, you're going to see him come in and stick his head right into the plane. Brian Easter, number 24, comes and gets him right in the side of the head here. Not an injury where his head was down, but he caught it from the side. And they do have the stretcher out for him. And as you saw, all the players forgetting the competition side of the sport right now and unifying together in prayer for Carlton Johnson. And they're trying to get the helmet off now and then keep his head stabilized.
One way to do that is to unscrew the face mask and then slide the helmet off as gently as possible.
And you hope it's nothing too serious. Again, precaution is the key word here. And Brian Easter, there's the man that put the hit on him. And again, no fault of his. He's just going in trying to make a play. This is unfortunately a part of the game. Not a pretty part, but it's a physical game, and there's a lot of hitting that goes on, and this does happen occasionally, and you can't think about it. The tough part now is for these players to try and put it out of their mind, and that's very, very hard to do in a situation like this when you're watching a player get put on a stretcher and taken off the field. And boy, you see the look of almost sorrow on the face of head coach Mike Daly and concern for his player.
It's the one fear that every football player puts deep into the recesses of his mind. Very much like Russian roulette. It's not a question of whether or not you're going to get hurt. It's when you're going to get hurt.
Yeah, very rarely in any kind of football do you go through a career without some kind of injury. Obviously, some more serious than others. But really, the hardest part here is the psychological part. If you think about this, that's when you get hurt. If you think about what may happen or what happened, that's when you can get hurt. So these players, very, very difficult, have to push this out of their mind and continue to play. You have to play the game of football with reckless abandon, with no care for your body. That's the way it's meant to be played, and there'll be less injuries that way. If you start wondering, am I going to get hit here? Should I pull up there? That's when you're going to get hurt.
I think what we tend to forget sometimes, Michael, in the heat of combat, these gentlemen on the field in the shoulder pads and helmets are great warriors, but they have families. In many cases, they're school teachers, they're policemen, they're firemen. They're everyday folks like we are. Very difficult way to make a living. But hopefully Carlton Johnson will be all right. We'll be back to Albany in a moment.
ESPN is home to the champions of the world this August. Look for the passion of Italian Serie A football with the Berlusconi Trophy. It's football from the Netherlands as Dutch football kicks off with the Dutch Super Cup. Then ESPN brings you the official opening of the season with the Italian Super Cup. The champions of the world in August on ESPN. The legendary bounce. The greatest fighters. Watch Super Bouts on ESPN for the greatest matches of all time. Super Bouts, Thursdays on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Formula 3 races into the second half of the season. ESPN has Latin America's most prestigious open-wheel racing as the most fertile training grounds for future kart drivers. Formula 3 has all the excitement and thrills you could ask for. Formula 3 on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
Well, the trainers from actually both clubs are on the field right now, still attending to the fallen Albany Firebird, Carlton Johnson.
Mike Hohensee, the offensive coordinator. Everybody with concern right now. It's all you can do is pray right now and just hope, that he's okay. And then somehow go on. We saw it last year with Reggie Brown of the Detroit Lions when they played the Jets. A long wait there, and players getting together to pray for him. That one turned out, even though his career was over, he came out healthy from that.
Well, one can only hope that the stretcher and that they brought out just a precautionary measure. Carlton on his back here and moving his arm as he reaches for his helmet, so maybe that's a good sign.
Exactly. You saw some movement with his arm. You see his arm back, and then later he did bring it forward. So I know there's concerned family and friends at home, so we did see that on our replay before. Even if you didn't see it at home, he had his arm behind his head, and then he did bring it forward. We'll give you any information we can about any kind of movement we see, because it's got to be a scary time for all the loved ones and fans. All the precautions being taken. He'll be taped down to the stretcher or to the backboard until he's put on the stretcher.
Never want to mess around with any kind of neck injury. Immobilization the key here, and again, both these teams unified in prayer for Carlton Johnson.
And they understand this is just a game. We're talking about a person's life right now, that this just is a game, and when he is off the field, they'll continue to play this game, and when it's over, their thoughts will again go to Carlton Johnson.
Your boy said hang in there, CJ. Keep said hang in there, baby. Keep said hang in there, CJ.
You're right, big boy. One leg down.
Albany Firebirds playing in their very first Monday night game. But the recent events and the injury to Carlton Johnson certainly have put a damper on this, what was once a festive crowd.
And he is awake, and they're looking at his eyes. Did see him blinking, so he is conscious. Again, it may, hopefully it's not a bad injury, but it may look worse just because they're taping him to the backboard. Again, it's a precautionary measure. They're going to make it so he can barely move his body, so hopefully the strapping down looks a lot worse than what it may actually be.
And we will certainly do everything in our power to get as much information as we possibly can to you before our telecast is over. That may not be available pending x-rays and things that are done at the hospital.
I got a job.
So play resumes with 4:15 remaining here in the third quarter of play. Arizona has the ball, trailing by 14. The pitch to Brian Easter. Along the right side, knocked out of bounds by Cornelius White.
Well, the game has to continue, and it'll go on, and you'll probably see some very hard hitting, some frustrations trying to be taken out on each side. But And this is frustration at the end. You'll see this is for their fallen man. You see the little extra shoving, and there's a lot of frustration on the side of Albany right now. But really, the best thing that can happen, it's very hard to do, but these players have got to try and push it out of their mind and continue to play with that reckless abandon.
Calvin checks into the man in motion. He breaks one tackle, gets it across midfield into Albany territory. First down, Arizona.
Well, Calvin again likes the deep routes. He sets it up there, looks like he's going deep, stops it. They're giving him plenty of room, and they'll give him room in the middle of the field. They'll start to tighten up. They'll play the bend but don't break mentality. Albany's defense will. They'll let him have those underneath routes, and when it starts to get to the 15, 10-yard line, they'll start to tighten up on Calvin and his core.
Tommy Johnson, number 21, along with Derek Stingley, number 24, and Cornelius White, now the three members of the secondary.
Two tight ends declared, 3-yard penalty.
Well, again, when you come to the line, the tight end, one of the linemen, he's a tight end, has to raise his arm, and he declares as the tight end. That time, both the end guys did it. See Matt Eller and Ralph Jarvis. Eller raised his hand, and Jarvis raised his left hand up, and that is illegal. Only one can do it.
First and 13 for Arizona. The ball pushed back into Arizona territory. Calvin checks into the quick screen pass, breaks it across the middle, inside the 10, now the 5, and that's where he's finally brought down.
Well, this is a great job of Arizona's other receivers getting down to block, and another player down, Sean Parnell, and he looks like he is in pain on his left side, his arm or his shoulder. He was downfield blocking, and we have seen way too many injuries for anybody's liking tonight, Mike.
It is one thing that has haunted the defending champions all season long. Injuries.
Watch 79 for Arizona, Matt Eller. Good job getting downfield. Great job of staying on his man. You see the other receivers downfield. And there's Sean Parnell, throws his shoulder in late. And he is coming off the field under his own accord. Looks like he just maybe got a stinger, and looks like he is okay. And that is a good sign, just to get him up and moving around now.
The field obviously smaller in arena football. The fast surface, the size of the players, the speed of the players all combine to make a very violent game at times.
Right here, number 15, there he is putting his shoulder down. And you see his arm kind of goes limp. That's a stinger. You get a little burn going down your neck and into your arm. Kind of makes your arm go dead for a bit, and then it comes back. So the initial first few seconds is painful. Then he got up, but now he has to come off the field, because if he stayed on, it would have cost Arizona a timeout. So Danny White elects to bring him off the field.
First and goal from the 5-yard line for the defending champions. Brian Easter gets the pitch, goes right. He's met first by his fellow fullback, Chad Dukes. But not before Easter picks up a 1.5 yards.
Boy, what doesn't Chad Dukes do? What we said, return kicks, carry the ball, catch passes. He just blows by all the blockers for Arizona. Nobody able to get a hand on him. He shoots the gap and makes another big play in the backfield. So Easter does fall forward for that yard.
Second and goal now. Jarvis, Kinney, and Matt Eller. Matt Eller, the eligible tight end, he just signaled with his right arm. Bonner rolling left, and Chad Dukes, another big play on defense. Certainly the early leader, favorite for the Tenacton Ironman player of the game, Albany's Chad Dukes.
Again, linebacker has to stay in the box, but as soon as Cedric Bonner rolls out, he is allowed to follow him. He does a great job. He stays in his sight path, and what Chad Dukes was doing, he was watching Cedric Bonner's eyes. Were they looking straight downfield? Were they looking back across the field? Obviously, they were looking right in front of him, and he just timed his jump.
This would be some kind of defensive stand if Albany can hang on here. Third and goal, and Bonner has to call timeout.
He had 1 second left on the play clock. Smart play to call that timeout.
Okay, let's get the play call. Let's go. Run it. All right. Play. Hey, listen. Hey, I can't send him until you get down, baby, okay? I know, but we still got to get down and get ready. Hey, listen up. Let's go. Let's go. We got to play here. Forget him. We got to play. Let's go. Wax right, X loop. 59, X read.
The ex-receiver, he's in the game, number 8, Calvin Schecksteiner. But I think Danny changed the play.
Let's go. Wax right, X loop, 59, wing slant out. Go right now. Keep going, Marvin. X arrow. Okay? Yes. Wax right, X loop, 59, wing slant out, X arrow on 1-on-1. Ready?
All right, the wing.
Yeah.
The X arrow, that is Calvin Schecksteiner. What he'll do is he'll go in motion. He'll start to the middle of the field, the middle of the end zone, and then he'll break out to the outside. Let's see if he's the man they go to.
There's the loop. He's looking for the arrow. Actually, Schecksteiner was clearing out there, and Bagley was the intended receiver. Incomplete.
And that's one you got to have. Hit him right in the hands.
The rookie from North Carolina A&T. Big on talent, short on Arena Football League experience.
And he was wide open. Got to make that play. They used Calvin to clear it out. 2 guys went to Calvin. Schecksteiner left Bagley wide open at the 2. He would have just walked in the end zone. Now they have to settle for the field goal.
Ball was tailing away from Marvin in his defense as Kyle Pooler on to attempt a field goal of 18 yards. And they miss it. And that ball is live. Remember, that's Tommy John that's got it. Tommy Johnson couldn't go all the way. The official is waving it off. They said he was out of bounds at the 10-yard line. But what a huge defensive stand by the Albany Firebirds. Arizona had it first and goal from the 5-yard line. They tried once, they tried twice, 3 times they were knocked away from the door, and then the missed field goal by Kyle Pooler, and what a lift for the Firebirds.
Again, this ball live off the net or the iron. See, it just hits the upright. And that ball is being returned. Tommy Johnson, he steps out of bounds. Right there. Good call by the official.
Albany Firebird defense, not in our house tonight, baby. Not in our house. Pulaski, who's had an outstanding evening. Going for it all. And Greg Hopkins, who's going to... he had a step on Cecil Doggett, who's played a whale of a game himself for Arizona. That would have been a circus catch.
Again, you see a big play. Mike Daly, the same type of play calling as Danny White. After a big stop by his defense, he went for it all on play number 1. See Doggett, good coverage. Slight contact right at the end, not enough to really affect anything. The referees just let him play on that one, just a bit overthrown.
Mike Daly downright impassive on the Albany bench. Pulaski getting hammered hard. Ball underthrown, but Eddie Brown adjusts and catches the ball in front of Art Oliver and drags him into the end zone. How about that? Downtown Eddie Brown. To spend time in the end zone, 41 yards, and he did most of that himself.
He's out there, wants to hear it a little louder, saying, give me a little more love than that.
Well, Silvestri misses the extra point, but who cares? A great defensive stand, and give Mike Pulaski all the credit in the world because he hung tough in the face of Ralph Jarvis.
Again, a pocket passer. He'll wait till his routes are clear. See him hanging in there, gets hit right as he throws it. That's why the pass was a little underthrown. You'll see Eddie Brown has to step on the defender, but look, this pass tails up in the air a little bit because of the hit. He stops, positions himself, and what Muhammad Oliver's trying to do here is knock the ball out. Instead of just taking him down, he's trying to knock the ball out. Eddie Brown says, I'm going to drag you a few yards with me and get another 6. And then the dance begins.
Well, that was Eddie's celebration, and then there, a la Jim McMahon, bumping chest. Oh, yeah, I love it. Well, in their 9th year of operation, the Albany Firebirds have the longest tenure of the league in one city, and the fans here love this team, and they would dearly love to see a playoff game or two hosted right here at Pepsi Arena.
And guess what? Eddie Brown just overtook Calvin Schexnayder for the scoring lead again this year.
Silvestri's kick, one of the few times it falls short tonight. Schexnayder's got it. And Carl Sacco with the big special teams play downfield.
Some inspired play by Albany, and you got to know that they are playing for their fallen teammate Carlton Johnson, who, by the way, they have taken to the hospital to try and rule out any kind of cervical injury. They're going to take him there for x-rays, so that's why they're taking him to the hospital.
Let's go. Left. Trips. X-back. Special push speed right to Y on one-on-one. Ready?
Well, if anyone can rally a team from a 20-point deficit, it's this man, Cedric Bonner. Arizona begins this possession at their own 7. The quick toss to Cedric Tillman. And the Albany defense continues to come up big.
Well, plain and simply, Albany is out hustling Arizona in every facet of the game. That was a quick screen where the other receivers are supposed to block. Albany defenders just beat them up the field. And they're just hustling a little more than Arizona is right now, and it's showing.
Mike, you can have all the X's and O's in the world, the greatest strategy in the world, the greatest defensive, offensive coordinators in the world, but bottom line, more times than not, this game is won on emotion, and Albany doing just that. Bonner to Bagley, and again, immediately there to impede his progress, number 21, Tommy Johnson, the rookie out of Alabama.
Well, one of the things known for arena football is the yards you get after the catch. You hit them on slant routes or hook routes, and you run after the play. Albany doing a nice job giving up the underneath routes and then wrapping up, making sure they make the tackle right there. So a 5-yard route is just a 5-yard gain.
Arizona has not had a lot of success on 3rd down tonight. They face a 3rd and 6 situation here. 6:02 remaining to go in the 3rd quarter. Bonner with time. He's got Tillman for the first down. Knocked out of bounds by Cornelius White. So that silences the crowd only momentarily.
And I think that's the first time we've called Tillman's number tonight receiving. It's usually been Bagley or Calvin Schexnayder. Bonner in this situation may need to spread the ball out a little more. Shakes right now just 2 touchdown receptions. Normally he's good for 3, 4, 5, 6 of them a night.
And the Arizona sedan right now operating on 3 wheels. Their other cog, their other wheel, Hunky Cooper, left the game in the first half with a sprained knee. Won't return. Bonner got Schexnayder, first down to the 15-yard line of Albany.
And again, they'll give that underneath route up. Carl Sacco, the Jill linebacker, just number 3 there for Albany. You see, he just got to, on that short pass, he just got to get out there a little quicker to try and make that play.
It is one of the trends we have seen this year in the Arena Football League, Mike. Teams content to allow the offenses to gain a lot of yards inside the 10s, but then play goal line defense. Schexnayder, the motion man. Bonner on his back, and he gets it off to Marvin Bagley. How he did that, oh, remarkable. Again, this is a man who has not been sacked in 2 years. That is a string of 765 pass attempts, and there was a graphic illustration why.
not sacked since July of 1996. Going down on one knee, still has the presence and wherewithal to not only get rid of the ball, but throw a strike and a completion. Came up limping just a little bit on that.
And that was going into tonight's ball game. So he has extended the pass attempt streak anyway. Second down to Rod Hobbs. Not the natural Roy Hobbs, Rod Hobbs, the fullback.
Well, here Hobbs, you know, it's a nice play. Hobbs has got to read his blocking. Again, he hasn't been here long. It's a screen. He's got to read his blocking and cut back. You're going to see he gets the pass out. His linemen are behind him. So he needs to cut back. You see the two linemen there. There's a little wall. Cut back behind him and come back to the middle of the field. Give credit Carl Sacco. Nice job of breaking through and making the play. But Hobbs got to use his blockers and his linemen a little better on that to get more out of it.
Well, I think we've seen better defenses this year so far, Mike, but certainly none more emotional than the Firebird squad on the field tonight. Bonner, a bullet, intercepted. Derek Stingley. Another defensive stop for the Albany Firebirds.
Well,
Derek Stingley came into this league with such enormous promise, was a little slow in getting going, but now we are seeing glimmers, if not lightning bolts of why.
Looks like there's a little bit of wonderment what's going on. The officials having a discussion in Arizona, seeming to be the happy ones in this discussion, so this may come back.
On this play, we had an interception by Albany. On the return, they fumbled. Arizona recovered. It'll be their ball, first down.
Wow, well, there's a turn of events.
Mike Daly's not buying it.
Well, here's the pass first. And to me, it almost looked like number 80, Cedric Tillman, stopped his route.
He may have stopped his route, but he had the presence of mind to come from behind and strip Stingley of the football. Bagley recovers. Hobbs tripped up by Tommy Johnson along with Carl Sacco, number 3.
Boy, what a nice job by Tommy Johnson playing that support corner on the run. You've got to come up and take out the interference. He took it all out and the ball carrier to boot.
And this is a little guy. I mean, for all intents and purposes, 5'10", 190 pounds, wiry but very, very tough.
Well, he's from Alabama in 1994, all SEC. You see him coming from the left of your screen. As a corner supporting the run, you've got to take out the interference. He does more than that. He makes the tackle by throwing his body with reckless abandon.
Second down and 8, Arizona. Ball at the Albany 10.
Prior to the snap, delay on the offense, 3-yard penalty.
Well, these are some really undisciplined penalties by Arizona tonight.
Same thing. Right, 12X corner. Just line up. Listen up. Let's go right. Rocket, 12. X corner. It's going one-on-one. Ready?
All right, the 12, that's a 3-step drop. X again is Calvin Schexnayder, and it's a corner route. We're going to try and get it to him in the end zone.
Schexnayder in the slot at the top of your screen. There's the corner route. They go instead to Sean Parnell. Jay Jones, number 5, that time on the coverage. So Albany getting help from just about everybody. 3rd and 11.
Great coverage by the Albany defensive backs. And Cedric Bonner threw that one under duress. He ended up on his backside at the end of that play. Good coverage.
Stingley almost had himself another interception.
Leroy Thompson, number 33 for Albany. He did put the pressure on Bonner, and those two right there had some great coverage on both Sean Parnell and Calvin Schexnayder.
3rd down and 11. Bonner, fade pattern. Corner route by Schexnayder overthrown, and again, Derek Stingley.
Well, that was the exact same play. Sean Parnell came underneath, and Calvin Schexnayder ran the corner route. Same play. This time Bonner threw it a different way. A little bump there, incidental. Maybe just enough to throw Calvin off. And they're lining up for a field goal, but you know what? When you're down by 20, field goal's not really going to do it.
Kyle Puller tonight 1 for 2. His last one caromed off the left upright. This one from 29 yards away, it is good. So for the moment, the Arizona Rattlers take a little starch out of this Albany crowd, but they trail 44-27.
Sunday on Sports AFL. 11:30 Geelong invites St Kilda to Cat Park with plans to inflict the Saints' second loss on the trot. 5:15 the Bombers need to keep winning, while Richmond will want to protect their top 4 spot. 7:30 Weekend Wrap is back with all the results, injuries, reports and highlights of the round. And at 9 Sydney need to consolidate their position and find some consistency when they meet the Power. 100% footy all weekend on Sports AFL.
Seconds remaining here in the third quarter of play. The Albany Firebirds in perhaps their best outing of the year, leading Arizona, the defending Arena Bowl champions, 44-27. The Rattlers without the services of their great star. There's the back of him, Hunky Cooper, who prior to tonight needed 147 yards to join Tampa Bay's George LaFrance in the exclusive 5,000-yard club. That's 5,000 yards receiving and 5,000 yards in returns. He had the 5,000 plus in the returns, just needed a few more receptions.
And they've got to be hoping with the injury bug that's hit him that Hunky Cooper is not out for too long.
Knee sprain was the early word, and quite possibly he could be back next week for the game against the New York City Hawks. So Flint Fleming makes the tackle on Chad Dukes.
Well, if Arizona wants any shot in this game, their defense has got to come up, and they've yet to. Every possession has been a score for Albany.
Let's go, that end.
Mike Pulaski, Mike this evening. But that's the end of the third quarter of play. The Albany Firebirds trying to run their record to 7-4, in control, 44-27.
ESPN. New season, new attitude. The best women players in the world turn up the heat in battle all night long. The WNBA all season on ESPN.
At any one moment in time, someone is winning, losing, struggling, crying. Where the world comes together to celebrate the universal language of sports. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
After an explosive first half here in Albany, the Firebirds and Rattlers combining to score 62 points. The game in the third, all about defense, just 9 between the two teams. And I think that makes Mike Daly pretty happy because that was his biggest concern coming in. Well, coming up this Saturday night, a night of boxing on ESPN2, featuring a heated rematch between a pair of boxers out of England. The challenger, Chris Eubank, taking on the champion, Carl Thompson. Both men from the UK, both men with bad intentions. And this will be a rematch of an earlier bout back in May. A night of boxing on ESPN2 this coming Saturday night. First and 10 Albany at their 14-yard line. Pulaski to Greg Hopkins, who's had a terrific evening. As the other receiver besides Eddie Brown, the possession receiver.
And it's going to come down, it's all on Arizona's shoulders. Are they going to come up and try and force the issue, or are they still going to lay back and give them the underneath routes? Here, Hopkins wide open, a couple of touchdowns, receptions tonight, and he's big on those 8, 10-yard routes, and then he's usually good to get 5, 6 more yards. That's one thing, another area that Albany has beaten Arizona tonight in yards after the catch.
And that was a nifty little play. They had Eddie Brown in motion and then used him sort of to screen for Cornelius White.
This is a big play in the Albany arsenal, that quick pass. They end up with all 3 receivers on one side of the field. They throw it to the widest man, and the other 2 receivers get in front of him and block. Good job that time by Arizona, recognizing that. Even if White would have caught that one, Arizona would have been all over him.
And there's the king of recognition, the defensive coordinator for Arizona, Doug Kay.
He's only been involved in football for about, what, 140, 150 years?
A lot of knowledge in between those 2 ears. Pulaski off his back from Eddie Brown. A tremendous throw. Eddie Brown had about 2 square feet to catch that football. A 20-yard reception, Pulaski to Brown.
Boy, again, gives some great kudos to Pulaski. Look at what he throws this ball under, off his back foot going down. And then, as you said, he got about 2 square yards or 2 square feet to get 1 foot in bounds. And he makes it look like he's got plenty of room. I tell you, great job by Eddie Brown. We saw it before. He does a subtle job. If we take a look at it again, of just getting a little push off right at the end when the ball's coming in, a la Michael Irvin from the Cowboys, and he gets away with it. It's a great move, and it works.
Prior to the snap, delay on the offense, 3-yard penalty.
Right at the end of this play, watch a little bit of a forearm by Eddie Brown. Again, a great move on his part. Might be tough to see it right. You can't really see it from this angle, but the other angle we had, his left forearm kind of pushed off on Cecil Doggett. Good timing right as the ball was coming, and then he was able to make the reception.
Snap high. Pulaski gets it down. Silvestri puts it through. Eddie Brown, they can thank you for that. Albany 51-27, 12:45 remaining.
ESPN is home to the champions of the world this August. Look for the passion of Italian Serie A football with the Berlusconi Trophy. It's football from the Netherlands as Dutch football kicks off with the Dutch Super Cup. Then, ESPN brings you the official opening of the season with the Italian Super Cup. The champions of the world in August on ESPN.
Final 10 seconds for Cesar Mora. stage 2 of the Tour de France, but meanwhile, they're getting jiggy with it here in Pepsi Arena and getting jiggy with Eddie Brown. 3 touchdowns on the night, 114 yards. 4 touchdowns make that. Here's the kick. That ball very much alive, and a kick save by Calvin Schexnayder.
Well, you know, we talk about it and ad nauseum about Hunky Cooper being out. New people back, either Bagley or Schexnayder.
And a heads-up play by number 8, Calvin Schexnayder.
World Cup's over, Calvin.
First and 10, Arizona. Parnell coughs it up. Another turnover. Number 75.
They're calling it incomplete. They're saying Parnell didn't have possession long enough. And another Rattler down. Brian Easter getting up slow. He's missed some of the season. You saw in the graphic early, he was out for a couple of games, and now he's up limping. Again, Parnell's got to have possession and his feet on the ground. He was just turning with the ball, and it got knocked out. Judgment call here by the referee.
I'll tell you what, they've stumped me, Mike. I'm looking at the 2 deep here, the charts. He doesn't have a name on his back. Who is number 75 for Albany?
I saw somebody switching a jersey. That might be Joe Jacobs.
He may have a jersey rip. There is no 75 listed.
Yeah, that's Joe Jacobs. I was watching him down earlier, and
who normally wears 56. So
I kind of noticed him. I was saying he had kind of
it is Joe.
Kind of the look of a Jeff Lagerman I was noticing before the game, and now they switched jerseys. I can tell that's the same person I was looking at, and must have got ripped off of him. Again, the leader in arena football was sacked 7.5.
But the uniform budget here in Albany only 13th in the league. Schexnayder in trouble. Gets it off to Marvin Bagley. First down and then some. Knocked out of bounds by Hopkins.
Well, with the quick pressure that Bonner got, I thought that was supposed to be a screen. Normally, you let the D lineman in that quick. Looks like they kind of... No, he just got beat. Darren Kenny just got flat out beat by Kyle Moore Brown. Said Bonner, that's why he hasn't been sacked in 2 years. A nice job of avoiding, and then he doesn't have to throw the ball away. He still makes completions. He's going to need a lot more of them there to make up this difference.
First and 10, Arizona. Second down and 2, Arizona at the midfield stripe. No delay of game penalty against Arizona. Again, second and 2.
Seth Bonner really barking in that huddle now, trying to get his team to respond. They look a little listless right now, Mike. They don't look like they have that fire, and Albany's still out hustling them on most every play.
Bonner to Parnell. He can't hang on. Incomplete. Now.
Another flag. You see Calvin Schexnayder, he looks tired. He looks beat. You're going to get a flag against Ralph Jarvis, I believe, against Arizona. He took a shot at the face of one of the Albany Firebirds. It's either going to be against him or against both.
We have unsportsmanlike fouls, 32 on the defense, 99 on the offense. Those will offset, and we go to third down.
Yeah, it was after the play. They each took a shot at each other. See, there's a block after the play.
That's Ralph Jarvis and number 33, Leroy Thompson. Come on, baby, bring it on.
He thought he baited Jarvis into the penalty, but the ref said, no, I got you too going to the face.
Wait a minute. Is this the wrong show? A night of boxing on ESPN 2? The screen to Schexnayder. First down, Arizona.
And there's a good job of teamwork. Ralph Jarvis, who just got the penalty called on. This is a screen. Jarvis came out. Number 99 and made the nice block. He takes one step in, and then you'll see him out. Watch him cut in front, make that block on Tommy Johnson. Calvin Schexnayder knowing how to use those blocks. We haven't seen that enough by the Rattlers tonight of cutting back behind their blockers. Again, a big night in yards, but Eddie Brown's got him on touchdowns. Eddie's got 4, Calvin just 2.
With less than 9 minutes to go, Arizona undoubtedly will fall tonight, but they will not fall quiet.
Well, that ball hit by a couple of players, Albany players. 2 people got their hands on it. They're just doing a great job. Again, they're getting some pressure on Cedric, not sacking him, but they're getting in his line of vision. You see Greg Hopkins in the line of vision. You see Cedric White in the line of vision. Hit Cedric White first, and then Hopkins keeps his eye on the ball and bats it in the air. They're doing a good job. If they're not going to get to Cedric, they're going to stay right in his line and time their jumps.
2nd down, 10. Rattlers. Punt fake. Bonner says, come on back to the football, Calvin. But Tommy Johnson, number 21, right there. And Cedric has to throw it away.
You just can't say enough about the downfield coverage of the Albany Firebirds. Man-to-man coverage, they've mixed it up, some zone, some man. But when they've gone to man, they have done a great job of
Mike, in a league where the rules are skewed to favor the offense, this defensive secondary work tonight by Albany is truly remarkable.
Well, kid back there couldn't hang on to the ball. Tommy Johnson, again, we talked about Johnson, Carlton Johnson taken to the hospital earlier to have his neck looked at. Tommy Johnson trying to pick up that slack.
Well, this Albany crowd tonight has been run through the ringer. It has been a night of emotions. Eddie Brown has got the fans on a high with 3 touchdown receptions. Mike Pawlowski playing great, the defense playing great, but again, as you mentioned, the loss of Carlton Johnson with a neck injury. Here's the play Cedric got from Danny.
X loop. 59 X post, lead cross. On 101,
X-post again, that'll send Schexnayder to the end zone, but they'll have a crossing route underneath, and they may go to that person for the first down. They'll clear out with a couple of deep routes.
Incomplete. Intended for Marvin Bagley, the security officers there. Hey, wait a minute. Now, one of those fans is entitled to that football. It's the Arena Football League's way of doing things. Ball goes into the stands, you get to keep it. There it is. Order restored. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Sunday on Sports AFL. 11:30 Geelong invites and killed it at Cat Park with plans to inflict the Saints' second loss on the trot. 5:15 the Bombers need to keep winning while Richmond will want to protect their top 4 spot. 7:30 weekend wrap is back with all the results, injuries, reports and highlights of the round. And at 9 Sydney need to consolidate their position and find some consistency when they meet the
ESPN2's coverage of the Arena Football League is brought to you by Tenactin, the official foot care product and antifungal of the Arena Football League. Don't blink. Albany does indeed lead defending champion Arizona 51-27, 6:27 remaining in the game. And the man on offense for Albany tonight has been Eddie Brown. 4 touchdown receptions. All from quarterback Mike Pulaski. Pulaski has time. Eddie Brown breaks the tackle, but Muhammad Oliver did knock him out of bounds back at the 20-yard line. Actually, there have been 5 touchdowns tonight by people named Brown. Eddie's got 4 of them. Fullback Tim Brown has the other one.
Muhammad Oliver and Cecil Doggett have had the task of trying to stop Eddie Brown tonight. Neither with a lot of success. See Oliver coming in late. Brown just steps out of bounds. His right foot coming out right there. Will be on the line.
Again, the Firebirds came into this game losers of 3 consecutive games, 2 of them heartbreakers in the final minute. But in control here, and almost a super one-handed grab by the other Brown we were talking about, Tim. Third-year pro out of West Virginia.
But, you know, this team lost 3 in a row, but they were 6-1 before that. They knew they could play some good ball. They had put up some nice numbers, scoring usually in the mid-50s, the 60s a couple of times. They knew this offense could work and they could play some good ball. And they said, what a better test than to come against a team with the second best record in the league in last year's Arena Football Champions. Mike Daly said, couldn't be a better test for our group right now. Basically to see what they're made of and see how they're going to finish this season heading into the playoffs.
And with the victory tonight, Albany will take a 1-game lead over New Jersey in the Eastern Division. They'll run their record to 7-4. Brown catches the ball underneath coverage. Muhammad Oliver with the stop.
Eddie Brown just wants the ball every time now. He just wants to get in the end zone again. They're just like sharks smelling blood right now. They feel they have this one in hand and they just want to lay the wood to him. I think a lot of it's still to their fallen comrade Carlton Johnson. It's going to be a bittersweet victory tonight for Albany. They'll get a nice win, but their thoughts will go right to their teammate.
Tonight's Old Spice storyline. Arizona's incomparable Calvin Schexnayder pretty much bottled up by the Albany defense, just 2 touchdown receptions. Mike Pulaski, 6 touchdown throws, 4 of them to touchdown Eddie Brown. The pitch to Tim Brown. He's going to go in unmolested. And I think credit Eddie Brown with a great block, Mike, if I'm not mistaken.
Cedric White also, number 91, playing the tight end or the tackle position. He hooked Ralph Jarvis and just gave the corner to the running back. Look at right there, you see a nice down block by the wing. Great blocking by everybody. Geez, pick a person there. They were doing it for Tim Brown so he could get into the end zone, his 2nd touchdown of the night.
The Albany Firebirds doing it up Brown. 4 touchdowns by Eddie, 2 by Timmy. And that pretty much seals the deal.
Well, this is just a good old-fashioned
delay offense, 3-yard penalty.
This is just a good old-fashioned butt kicking right now. They're out hustling Arizona. They're out executing Arizona. Danny White is a tactician, a disciplined type coach, and he will go over this film, every detail of this film, to his team and says, guys, if you want any chance of repeating, you're going to have to really step up your play. In Albany, looking to get back to that early season for them. Looks like they're getting there.
Don Silvestri on to attempt the extra point.
Nice hit.
It has been all Firebirds. They lead by 31 here at Pepsi Arena. You're watching the Arena Football League on ESPN2.
Secret Service agent Sam Sims has a style all his own.
I am so flattered.
Sworn to protect.
The first time I got in trouble before I did anything.
Sworn to serve.
This is a black tie affair. I'm black. I'm wearing a tie.
Sworn to be wild.
A little pelvic thrust. Try this.
And guarding America's first kid.
You see the kid come out here?
Yes, sir.
Then why didn't you stop him?
He lives here.
Now they're turning the White House
Unlock the door
into the Fun House.
Only 6 hours on the job and already an escape attempt?
Sinbad. Brock Pierce and Zachary Ty Bryan.
Okay, it's official. I don't like this kid.
The Australian television premiere season of First Kid begins Saturday, 8:30 on Movie Extra.
Monday night game ever in the 9-year history of the Albany Firebirds, and the fans have been treated to quite a show. Well, a reminder, next Saturday night on ESPN, Houston at Milwaukee, the Thunder Bears taking on the Milwaukee Mustangs in a key Central Division game that's going to have great playoff implications. Todd Hamill and company against Clint Doziel, two of the finest, most explosive quarterbacks in the Arena Football League. That's on ESPN next Saturday. Then on Monday on the Deuce, it's Florida at Grand Rapids. The expansion franchise, the Grand Rapids Rampage. Their first season has been, by all standards, a successful one, drawn plenty of fans up at Van Andel Arena. Arena football catching on in Michigan.
Oh, Greg Hopkins there up with the fans. He just went up and sitting up with the fans right now. I'm going to enjoy it with them. Game where you can get down.
Only in arena football, Michael. Greg Hopkins out of Slippery Rock. An unlikely football factory. Having quite an evening tonight. 4 receptions, 61 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
3-time Division II All-American, so he made the most of his years.
And these are the fun moments for a player.
Come on, Diddy.
Final moments of the game. The team in control. The only thing that will tarnish this victory, and we have to go back to it, the neck injury to number 2, Carlton Johnson, their best defender. He was taken off the field by stretcher, taken to a nearby hospital, immobilized for precautionary reasons. Serves all of us hoping and praying that Carlton's okay. That's the latest word we have.
I got to believe after this game there's going to be a convoy of players and coaches, and I'm sure some fans, over to the hospital to check on the condition of Carlton Johnson. And again, if we hear anything before the end of this broadcast, we will certainly get it out to everybody. I'm sure there are a lot of family and friends praying right now.
Well, assuming that Calvin Schexnayder doesn't score in the final 1 minute and 38 seconds of play, Eddie Brown will take over the AFL scoring lead after tonight. Well, that's Parnell who's wide open. Touchdown Arizona. Eddie Brown would have 206 and Calvin would have 204.
Well, late touchdown for Arizona. Way too little, way too late. The only thing Albany will be upset, that'll hurt their defensive statistic.
Donnie Davis, the backup quarterback who threw that touchdown, who, remember him coming on a year ago in the semifinals against Tampa Bay and leading the Rattlers to victory and ultimately the Arena Bowl title.
And all he did was win MVP honors in the Arena Bowl. He's gotten a little bit of work in a few blowouts that the Arizona has had. Donnie Davis has seen some action.
And you wonder about his future, too. Here's a relatively young player with a lot of talent out of Georgia Tech. How long does he sit behind Cedric Bonner? This guy certainly has the talent to be a starter in this league.
Kind of like the Joe Montana, Steve Young situation in San Francisco. Not comparing the talents of all those quarterbacks, but the same situation where the backup easily could start for many teams in this league, and Donnie Davis.
Well, tonight's Tenacton Ironman player of the game, there he is, number 82. Greg Hopkins, quite a night, 2 touchdown receptions and 5 tackles on defense. He's been doing this kind of thing, though, all year long.
You know, and with Eddie Brown on offense, Greg Hopkins kind of the unsung hero, but I guarantee in that locker room with the players and the coaching staff, he is not an unsung hero. He is realized for the worth that he has, and I'm sure that man, Eddie Brown, goes up and gives that man a high five all he can.
And Mike, with the Albany victory tonight, we can update you now on the playoff picture, the seedings 1 through 9 as they stand right now. Tampa Bay with the number 1 seed, Arizona still number 2 despite the loss. And then Nashville, Albany, and Orlando all at 7 and 4, but because of the tiebreaker procedures, Nashville has the 3rd seed. Coming up next on ESPN2, Stage 2 of the Tour de France, the largest and most prestigious racing in cycling. And it begins this year in Dublin, Ireland, and travels through 20 other towns. That's coming up next, only on the Deuce.
Oh, the only good thing about that onside kick is a fan goes home with it. And he's going home.
Chad Dukes, look out. This guy wants your job.
High-fiving, and again, he'll stick around, as the players will stick around after the game for a while and sign autographs. I'm sure that man will get his ball signed.
What better way to spend a Monday night? Looking ahead for the Albany Firebirds, well, it doesn't get much easier. They're going to play San Jose out on the West Coast next week, and then Orlando. So two very difficult opponents. We're both bound for the playoffs themselves, and then they finish up at Madison Square Garden against the City Hawks.
3-yard penalty from where the ball went out of bounds. First down.
For Arizona, they got to turn things around in just 3 days and play the City Hawks. At least they do it at America West, and then back to New Jersey. We'll be covering that game, and then finally they'll wrap things up against Nashville. And Danny White very happy about this schedule because New Jersey and Nashville, two very tough playoff-bound teams themselves. He thinks that's going to be a great tune-up for the upcoming playoffs.
And this game Thursday against New York, the shortest turnaround in Arena Football League history. They're playing tonight, Monday night, Arizona. They got to turn around and play Thursday night. Not a lot of recovery time, especially for a team that has had a lot of injuries, as we see a new quarterback in for Albany.
Jeff Lutz out of Southwest State was actually on the Arizona roster, Arena Bowl 11, behind Donnie Davis. Well, the NFL in prime time is exclusively on ABC and ESPN this fall. Sunday Night Football on ESPN begins September 6th. Paul McGuire joins Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann in the booth this year. And then on September 7th, another season of Monday Night Football on ABC. A new time this year. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern. This year's matchup join Dan and Al and newcomer Boomer Esiason for the Patriots and defending Super Bowl champion Denver Broncos. NFL in primetime exclusively on ABC and ESPN.
Tony Henderson working that shoulder around, and this has become all too familiar a sight for the Arizona Rattlers, wondering how they're getting through this year with the injuries they've had.
55 seconds remaining. Luce keeps it on the ground, gives it to Chad Dukes. Did he get it?
Nope, they're saying he's just short, and they'll get one more play in and probably be the same play to Chad Dukes, the leader in Arena Football in rushing and needing just over 100 yards to set the single-season record.
Mike, Eddie Brown clearly did his thing, the thing that he needed to do tonight. As we look at Cedric Bonner, no doubt dejected by the outcome tonight. But the way Albany got quality performances from Hopkins, from Dukes, from Tommy Johnson, that was the difference tonight. Everybody came to play.
Well, that was, and this is the team that does rely on Eddie Brown and Mike Pawlowski to lead them, a quarterback and wide receiver. But you're right, it's when the secondary, the ancillary players will step up and face the music, and they have, and they really have. Tommy Johnson, Carlton Johnson, before he was injured. Joe Jacobs putting pressure on Cedric Bonner.
Prior to the snap, ball start, 57 on the offense.
12 seconds remaining, and once again, a reminder coming up following our show, the Tour de France, which will be seen in the next month on ESPN and ESPN2. Stage 2 is coming up next. The most prestigious race in bicycling. Well, double zeros on the scoreboard, and that will do it. A huge win for head coach Mike Daly and his Albany Firebirds as Eddie Brown scores 5-4 touchdown, and the Firebirds run their record to 7-4. Reminder coming up next, the Tour de France Stage 2 on ESPN2. For Mike Golick, I'm Mike Adamley. Thanks for joining us here tonight at Pepsi Arena in Albany. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Good night, everyone.